I held the bouquet of white orchids, standing in the marble lobby with 47 employees lined up behind me. The cameras were rolling. The board members stood at attention. Everyone had practiced their smiles for the welcome ceremony. The new chairwoman was arriving in 30 seconds, and I'd been asked to make the greeting speech as Senior Vice President of Global Operations. The elevator doors opened. Miranda Chen stepped out in a cream Chanel suit, her heels clicking against the marble. She was 28, fresh from Stanford Business School, and she was the founder's niece. Behind her walked 3 assistants carrying designer bags and 2 security guards. She surveyed the lobby like she was inspecting a hotel she might purchase. I stepped forward with the flowers and my prepared welcome. Ms. Chen, on behalf of everyone at Quantum Dynamics, we're honored to have you as our new chairwoman. We look forward to working with you to continue our founder's vision. I extended my hand. She looked at it like I'd offered her garbage. Her lip curled. I don't shake hands with low-level employees. Her voice carried across the lobby. Sharp, dismissive, intentional. The room went silent. Someone's phone clattered to the floor. The cameras kept rolling because the PR team hadn't realized what was happening yet. I stood there with my hand out, flowers in the other arm, watching her smirk at me. Behind her, the assistants giggled. One of them whispered something and they laughed louder. Low level? I let my hand drop, kept my voice even. Professional. The flowers were getting heavy, but I didn't move. I see. Yes. Low level. She turned to her assistant, speaking loud enough for everyone to hear. Make a note. I want a full reorganization. I'm tired of companies where secretaries think they can approach leadership directly. There should be protocols, hierarchies. People should know their place. My colleague Jennifer, the head of HR, stepped forward. Ms. Chen, I think there's been a misunderstanding. This is Sarah Mitchell. She's our Senior Vice President of... I don't care what inflated title she has. Miranda waved her hand dismissively. In my experience, women who've been at a company too long get comfortable. They stop innovating. They coast. That's going to change. She looked directly at me. How long have you been here? 12 years. Exactly. She smiled like she'd proven a point. 12 years of collecting a paycheck while my uncle built this company. Well, he's gone now. I'm in charge. And I don't tolerate dead weight. The founder, Robert Chen, had died 6 months ago. Heart attack at his desk, working on the quarterly projections at 2 a.m, because that's who he was. He'd left 60% of the company to his wife, 30% to key employees in a trust, and 10% to Miranda because she was family. The wife, Elizabeth, had appointed Miranda as chairwoman last week. Elizabeth didn't understand the business. She understood legacy and family loyalty. Dead weight. I repeated it softly. Let it hang in the air. The cameras were still rolling. The board members looked uncomfortable. James Rodriguez, our CFO, was staring at his shoes. Nobody wanted to be the first to object. Miranda pulled out her phone, didn't look up. I've already spoken with my transition team. We're implementing immediate changes, starting with management restructuring. She scrolled through something on her screen. I'm bringing in real talent, people from top-tier companies, people with fresh perspectives. Finally, she looked at me again. People who understand that business is about results, not seniority. Results. I nodded. Set the flowers down on the reception desk. They'd wilted anyway. What kind of results are you looking for? The kind where we're not dependent on outdated systems and overpaid middle managers who think they're irreplaceable. She turned to her assistant. Get me the organizational charts. I want termination packages prepared for the legacy team by end of day. We'll bring in the new structure next week. Jennifer tried again. Ms. Chen, perhaps we should discuss this in a board meeting. There are considerations, contractual obligations. I've reviewed the contracts. Standard employment agreements. 2 weeks severance per year of service. Very generous for people who haven't earned it. Miranda's smile was all teeth. And I have full authority to restructure as I see fit. It's in my appointment agreement. She was right about that. Elizabeth had given her carte blanche. The board had protested, but Elizabeth owned controlling interest. Family came first. Robert would be spinning in his grave. You're right that you have authority. I kept my tone neutral, calm, like we were discussing the weather. And you're right about those standard employment agreements. Most of the staff here has them. Most? One of the board members, Patricia Wu, stepped forward. She was looking at me with something like panic in her eyes. Sarah, perhaps this conversation should happen in private. No, I think Ms. Chen should hear this now. I pulled out my phone, opened my email, found the document I needed. You mentioned bringing in new talent next week. What's your timeline for system transition? Miranda's eyes narrowed. That's operational detail, not your concern. Humor me. You're restructuring management. You'll need time to bring people up to speed. Train them on our systems, our client relationships, our ongoing projects. I tilted my head. 2 weeks? 3 weeks? We'll have full transition in 10 days. She said it like a challenge. My team is already briefed. They're the best in the industry. They don't need hand-holding. 10 days. Interesting timeline. I looked at Patricia. She'd gone pale. She knew. She was one of 3 board members who actually understood what kept this company running. Ms. Chen, do you know what I actually do here? You have some vice president title. They hand those out like candy in companies like this. Probably means you manage a small team. Maybe handle some client calls. She was already looking at her phone again. Bored with me. Like I said, middle management. Replaceable. I don't manage a team. I said it quietly. Let her keep scrolling through her phone. I manage the licensing. Her finger stopped moving on the screen. Just for a second. Then she kept scrolling. Licensing is handled by legal. Legal manages the contracts. I manage the relationships. Specifically, I manage the relationship with Helix Corporation. I watched her face. Still no recognition. You might not be familiar with them. They're based in Luxembourg. Small company. Very specialized. They hold the patents to the core algorithm that runs every single one of our products. Now she looked up. What algorithm? The quantum encryption algorithm that processes all client data through our platform. The one we license from Helix. The one that's the entire foundation of our technology stack. I pulled up another document on my phone. The license agreement is quite specific. It's not held by the company. It's held by an individual. The agreement states that if that individual leaves quantum dynamics for any reason, the license terminates immediately. The lobby was silent. Even the assistants had stopped giggling. Patricia Wu had her hand over her mouth. James Rodriguez looked like he might throw up. One of the other board members, David Kim, was already pulling out his phone. That's not possible. Miranda's voice had changed. Less certain. Corporate licenses don't work that way. This one does. Robert negotiated it 12 years ago when we were still a startup. Helix didn't trust the company. They didn't know if we'd survive. But they trusted Robert. And they trusted me. I turned my phone around so she could see the document. The license holder is Sarah Mitchell. That's specified in paragraph 4, section 2. The license is valid as long as I remain an active employee of Quantum Dynamics in a senior leadership capacity. Let me see that. She grabbed for my phone. I pulled it back. You can read your own copy. Legal has it. So does the board. It's been filed with every annual report for 12 years. It's public record for anyone who bothered to look. I glanced at Patricia. The license comes up for renewal on Friday, 3 days from now. The renewal is automatic as long as I'm still employed and in good standing. Miranda's face had gone from tan to gray. What happens if you leave? The license terminates, immediately. Not in 10 days, not after a transition period. The moment my employment ends, the license ends. And without that license, every product we sell stops working. Every client contract becomes void. Every system we've installed in the last 12 years becomes a very expensive paperweight. How much are the contracts worth? Her voice was barely a whisper now. Current active contracts? $2.1 billion. Annual recurring revenue? $460 million. I put my phone back in my pocket. We have 632 enterprise clients across 23 countries. They all signed agreements guaranteeing continuous service. If we lose the license, we breach every single one of those contracts. The penalty clauses alone would bankrupt us in 30 days. One of the assistants made a small sound, like a whimper. David Kim was talking urgently into his phone, probably calling the company's attorneys. James Rodriguez had sat down on one of the lobby benches, his head in his hands. "You're bluffing." Miranda's voice shook. "This is some kind of power play. You're trying to manipulate me. I'm stating facts. Legal can confirm everything I just said. So can the board. So can Helix Corporation." I checked my watch. It's 4:15 on a Wednesday. Helix is 8 hours ahead. They're closed for the day. But I have the direct line for Klaus Vandermeer, the CEO. We have coffee every month when I'm in Luxembourg. I was just there last week, actually, finalizing the renewal terms. "What renewal terms?" Patricia Wu's voice cracked. "The standard renewal. Same terms as always. Helix has been happy with our relationship. Klaus specifically mentioned how much he values stability. He said as long as I'm managing the partnership, he sees no reason to change anything." I paused. He also mentioned that Helix has been approached by 3 competitors in the last year. Companies interested in licensing the algorithm. He's turned them all down out of loyalty to our relationship. Miranda was gripping her phone so hard her knuckles were white. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that in approximately 45 seconds, I'm going to walk out of this building. You just terminated me. In front of witnesses. On camera. I'm a senior vice president, and you called me low-level dead weight. You announced plans for my termination package. So I'm accepting that termination, effective immediately." I looked at the cameras. Still rolling. Perfect. Which means the license terminates immediately. Which means by 5 p.m. today, every system we operate will be in breach of the licensing agreement. "Wait." She stepped forward, reached out like she might grab my arm, then thought better of it. "Wait. You can't do this. This is sabotage. This is corporate terrorism. This is the contract Robert negotiated. He structured it this way specifically to protect the company. He trusted me to maintain the relationship with Helix because he knew how critical it was. He knew that partnership was personal, not corporate." I shrugged. "You didn't bother to learn what anyone here actually does before you decided to restructure. That's not sabotage. That's incompetence." James Rodriguez had his phone out now. I'm looking at the contract. She's right. Paragraph 4, Section 2. Jesus Christ, Miranda. Did you read any of the company documentation? I read the quarterly reports, the financial statements. Her voice was defensive now, panicked. Nobody told me about this arrangement. It's in every quarterly report, under risk factors. Key personnel dependency, specifically related to strategic technology partnerships. It's been there for 12 years. Patricia Wu was pulling up documents on her tablet. Elizabeth signed off on all of them. She knew. Robert made sure the board knew. Call Elizabeth. Miranda was spinning now, looking at her assistants like they could fix this. Call her right now. Tell her we need to stop this. Elizabeth is in Singapore. David Kim looked up from his phone. It's 1 a.m. there. And even if we reach her, what's she going to do? Fire the board? Reverse your authority? That takes paperwork, legal processes. We don't have time. Then we'll sue. Miranda pointed at me. Breach of contract. Breach of fiduciary duty. We'll get an injunction. We'll force you to stay. Sue me for what? You terminated me. You announced it in front of 47 witnesses and at least 3 cameras. I'm accepting the termination. That's not breach of contract. That's me agreeing with your assessment. I started walking toward the exit. The severance package you mentioned, 2 weeks per year of service. That's 24 weeks for me. I'll have my attorney send over the details. $2 million. She blurted it out. I'll pay you $2 million to stay. Right now. We'll structure it as a retention bonus. I stopped. Turned around. Interesting. 30 seconds ago, I was dead weight. Now I'm worth $2 million? $3 million. $4 million. Name your price. She was following me now. The assistants trailed behind her, confused and scared. The security guards didn't know what to do. Whatever you want. Title, compensation, equity. Just don't walk out. Here's what I want. I kept my voice level. Professional. I want an apology. A real one. In front of everyone here. On camera. I want you to acknowledge that you made assumptions about me, about this company, and about the people who've built it without bothering to do basic research. Her jaw clenched. Fine. I apologize. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. That's not an apology. That's a transaction. I shook my head. You don't actually think you did anything wrong. You just want to undo the consequences. That's not the same thing. What do you want from me? Her voice rose. Desperate now. You want me to grovel? To humiliate myself? This is blackmail. This is accountability. I gestured at the cameras. You humiliated me in front of my colleagues. You dismissed 12 years of work as dead weight. You called me a secretary. You laughed at me. You want to fix this? Start by understanding that people aren't assets you can reorganize on a spreadsheet. They're humans with expertise and relationships and knowledge that took years to build. Patricia Wu stepped between us. Sarah, please. We need time to sort this out. Can we at least pause? Have a board meeting? Discuss options? The license expires at 5 p.m. on Friday if I don't confirm the renewal. I checked my watch again. It's Wednesday at 4:20. That gives you roughly 48 hours. In that time, you need to figure out if you want me to stay, and if so, under what terms. Not just compensation. Terms. How this company is run. How people are treated. What the culture is going to be. I'll agree to anything. Miranda was crying now. Actual tears. Her makeup was running. Please. I didn't understand. I didn't know. That's the problem. You didn't know because you didn't care enough to find out. I looked at the board members. Robert built this company on relationships. With employees, with clients, with partners like Helix. He understood that trust takes years to build and seconds to destroy. You just destroyed it in under 5 minutes. David Kim's phone rang. He answered, listened, then went pale. That was our head of technology. He just got an automated alert from Helix's system. They've detected that our license holder status has changed. It hasn't changed. I frowned. I'm still employed. Technically. Their system flagged the news. He turned his phone around. There was already an article posted online. Tech reporter was here covering the new chairwoman's arrival. He live-streamed the confrontation. It's already got 50,000 views. The headline is, New Quantum Dynamics Chair Fires Key Executive, Threatens billion-dollar contracts. Miranda made a sound like she'd been punched. No, 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 no. Helix has automated monitoring for any news about license holders. It's in the agreement. Any threat to the license holder's status triggers an immediate review. Patricia was reading through the contract on her tablet. They have the right to demand immediate renewal renegotiation if they determine the relationship is at risk. Call Klaus. Miranda grabbed my arm. I pulled away. Please, call him right now. Tell him it's fine. Tell him it was a misunderstanding. It's 1 in the morning in Luxembourg. Klaus doesn't answer his phone after 8 p.m. He's very strict about work-life balance. I walk toward the door again. He'll see the news when he wakes up in about 7 hours. Then he'll call me, and I'll tell him the truth. What truth? She was following me, practically running in her heels. What are you going to tell him? That the new leadership at Quantum Dynamics doesn't value the relationships that built this company. That they're more interested in hierarchy and titles than in the actual work. That they think 12 years of partnership management is replaceable with fresh MBAs. I pushed open the glass door. Outside, the sun was setting, golden light across the parking lot. And then I'll tell him that I'm no longer employed here, so the license agreement is void, and he should consider his options. His options? James Rodriguez was at my elbow. He'd followed us outside. Sarah, Helix has been approached by competitors. If Klaus decides to license the algorithm to someone else, then Quantum Dynamics becomes a shell company with no technology, no products, and 632 breach of contract lawsuits. I looked back through the glass doors. Miranda was standing in the lobby, surrounded by board members and assistants. All of them talking at once. Phones out. Panic spreading. That's what happens when you treat people as disposable. My phone rang. Unknown number. Luxembourg area code. I answered. Hello? Sarah, it's Klaus. I know it's late there. I hope I'm not disturbing you. His English was perfect, slight German accent. I just received an alert about Quantum Dynamics. Is everything all right? I looked at Miranda through the glass. She was watching me. She knew who I was talking to. Her face was white. Klaus, I'm glad you called. There's been a change in leadership here. The founder's niece has taken over as chairwoman. She's implementing a reorganization. I see. And how does this affect our partnership? She's decided that my position is unnecessary. I've been terminated, effective immediately. Silence on the line. Then Klaus's voice, very quiet. They terminated you, the license holder. They didn't know I was the license holder. They didn't review the company documentation before restructuring. Mein Gott. A long pause. Sarah, you have been our partner for 12 years. We have built trust. Helix values this trust more than the contract. If you are no longer at Quantum Dynamics, I need to reconsider our arrangement. I understand completely. Where will you go? What are your plans? I haven't decided yet. This happened about 10 minutes ago. If you are available, I would like to discuss something with you. Helix has been considering expansion into the North American market. We have been approached by several companies interested in our technology, but we would prefer to work with someone we trust. His voice warmed. Perhaps you would consider consulting for us? Or better, joining Helix in a business development capacity? Through the glass, I could see Patricia Wu explaining something to Miranda, showing her the phone in my hand. Miranda's knees buckled. Someone caught her before she fell. James Rodriguez was gesturing wildly. The assistants were crying. The security guards were trying to calm everyone down. The cameras were still rolling. That's a very generous offer, Klaus. Can I think about it? Of course. But Sarah, I need to tell you something in the interest of our friendship. If you leave Quantum Dynamics, the license ends. You know this. What you may not know is that we have a non-compete clause in our partnership agreement with Quantum Dynamics. If they lose the license, we cannot license to any company where former Quantum Dynamics employees hold key positions for a period of 5 years. I didn't know that. That's very restrictive. Robert insisted on it. He was concerned about protecting his company's competitive advantage. He never imagined that his own family would create this situation. Klaus sighed. So if you work for us, or for any other company in this industry, Quantum Dynamics cannot recover the license for 5 years. They would be locked out of the market completely. I watched Miranda collapse onto one of the lobby benches. her head in her hands, her assistants hovering uselessly around her. The board members in a tight circle, all talking over each other. This wasn't just a $2 billion mistake anymore. This was corporate extinction. Klaus, give me 24 hours. I need to process this. Of course. I will call you tomorrow evening, your time. We can discuss details then. He paused. Sarah, I am sorry this happened. Robert was a good man. He understood loyalty. He understood trust. I hope his successor learns these lessons before it is too late. I ended the call. Stood in the parking lot, watching the chaos through the glass doors. My phone buzzed. Text from Jennifer in HR. The board is calling an emergency meeting. Can you please come back inside? I texted back. I'm terminated, remember? I don't work there anymore. Another text, this time from Patricia Wu. Sarah, please. We need to talk. The board had no idea Miranda was planning this. Elizabeth gave her authority, but we can override it. We have mechanisms. My phone rang. Elizabeth Chen, the founder's widow. I almost didn't answer. Let it ring 4 times. Finally picked up. Hello, Elizabeth. Sarah. Her voice was thick. She'd been crying. I just saw the video. Patricia called me. She woke me up. She told me what happened. I'm sorry they woke you. Don't be sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She was crying harder now. Robert trusted you. He built that company with you. I knew about the license. He explained it to me 100 times. He said you were the key to everything. And I let Miranda. I thought she needed a chance. I thought she was smart. You thought she was family. Yes. A sob. I thought family mattered. Robert always said family was everything. But he meant people who care about what you've built. People who respect it. Miranda just sees dollar signs. She sees a trophy. She wants to prove herself by tearing everything down and rebuilding it in her image. Elizabeth, what do you want me to do? I want to fire her. Tonight. Right now. I'm calling an emergency board vote. I still have controlling interest. I can remove her as chairwoman. And then what? She'll sue you. She'll drag it through courts. It'll be in the news for months. Your stock will tank. Clients will get nervous. Helix will see the instability. Then tell me what to do. Her voice broke. Please, Sarah. You understand this company better than anyone. Better than me. Better than Miranda. Robert trusted you with everything. I should have too. I looked at the sunset. Orange and purple streaking across the sky. In 12 years, I'd never left work before 7 p.m. Never taken more than 1 week of vacation at a time. Never missed a renewal meeting with Klaus. Never dropped a client relationship. I'd built this company alongside Robert, piece by piece, relationship by relationship. And in 5 minutes, his niece had tried to throw it all away because she couldn't be bothered to shake my hand. Here's what I want, I said slowly. Miranda resigns. Tonight. You announce it as a mutual decision. She's stepping down to pursue other opportunities. No drama, no lawsuits. You give her a severance package that keeps her quiet. Done. What else? The board gets full operational authority until you find a permanent replacement. Someone who actually understands this industry. Someone who will respect what Robert built. Yes, absolutely. I want a contract revision, not for the Helix license. That stays as is. That's protection for the company. But I want a seat on the board, with voting rights, so this never happens again. Silence. Then, Robert wanted to give you that years ago. I said no. I thought it would complicate things. I was wrong. And I want a commitment that the culture Robert built stays intact. No mass firings, no restructuring for the sake of restructuring. We grow carefully. We value people. We maintain relationships. You have my word. Your word isn't enough anymore, Elizabeth. I need it in writing. Contract amendments. board resolutions, bylaws if necessary. You'll have everything in writing by tomorrow morning. I'm calling our attorneys right now." She sniffled. "Are you coming back inside?" I looked at the building, at the people visible through the glass. They were still in chaos, still panicking. They'd survive this, but they'd remember it. They'd remember what almost happened when someone decided relationships didn't matter, when someone decided trust was expendable, when someone forgot that some things can't be replaced by fresh talent and new perspectives. "I'll come back inside, but not tonight. I'm going home. I'm going to have dinner. I'm going to sleep. Tomorrow morning, I'll review the documents your attorneys send. If everything is in order, I'll confirm the renewal with Klaus. Then I'll come back to work." "Thank you." Elizabeth's voice was barely a whisper. "Thank you for not giving up on us. I didn't do this for you. I did it for Robert, and for the 600 people who work here who didn't deserve to lose their jobs because someone's niece wanted to feel important." I ended the call, walked to my car. Behind me, I could hear shouting from inside the building. Someone had opened the doors. Jennifer was running across the parking lot. "Sarah, wait!" I got in my car, started the engine. Jennifer reached me just as I was backing out. "The board wants to meet with you. Elizabeth is on the phone. Miranda is going to resign. Elizabeth is going to fix this, and I'm going home. Tell the board I'll see them tomorrow. But the license, the renewal, Helix, has 24 hours before Klaus calls me back. That's plenty of time for everyone to calm down and handle this properly." I put the car in reverse. "And Jennifer, make sure those cameras footage gets saved. Every second of it. I want a record of exactly what happened today." Why? Because the next time someone walks into that building thinking they can tear it down and rebuild it in a day, they need to understand what that actually costs. I looked back at the lobby. Miranda was visible through the glass, sitting on the bench, alone. Her assistants had scattered. The board members had moved away from her. She looked small, broken. $2.1 billion. That's what arrogance costs. I drove home. The sunset was beautiful. By the time I got there, my phone had 37 missed calls and 62 text messages. I ignored all of them, made dinner, drank a glass of wine, went to bed at 9 p.m., slept better than I had in months. In the morning, the contracts were in my inbox. Everything I'd asked for: board seat, voting rights, cultural protection clauses. Miranda's resignation announcement was scheduled for 10 a.m. I called Klaus at 9 a.m. his time, confirmed the renewal. Same terms as always. He laughed and said Elizabeth had called him at 2 in the morning, crying and apologizing. He'd told her the same thing Robert always said: trust takes years to build and seconds to destroy, but rebuilding is possible if you're willing to do the work. I went back to the office at noon. The flowers were still on the reception desk, wilted and brown. I picked them up and threw them in the trash. Then I walked into the conference room where the board was waiting. Patricia Wu stood up when I entered. Then David Kim. Then James Rodriguez. One by one, they all stood. A silent acknowledgement of what had almost been lost. What had almost been thrown away by someone who couldn't be bothered to shake my hand. "Let's get to work," I said. And we did.